Okay, so you did it. You got the degree, you landed the job, but now what? Why does that first day feel like you've just landed on a completely different planet? Well, that's the jump from campus to corporate life. And today, we're diving into the ultimate survival guide for it, all based on this awesome book, Your Path to Success. So yeah, let's get right into it. And all the wisdom we're about to unpack, it comes straight from Patan Usman Khan, a guy who's been in the corporate trenches for over 2 decades. He basically wrote this guide to be the mentor he never had, you know? It's packed with all the lessons he learned the hard way, so you don't have to.
And let's be real, that feeling, like you've just been dropped into a massive, confusing maze, it's totally normal. Everyone feels it. You've got the degree, you've got the skills, but the corporate world, it just plays by a whole different set of rules. And the tricky part? A lot of them aren't written down anywhere. It's exciting for sure, but man, it can also be pretty daunting.
And that's exactly why he wrote the book. This isn't some dry academic theory. Nope, it's a real-world playbook built from his own experiences, all the wins, and more importantly, all the mistakes. The goal is super simple, to give you a massive head start, a shortcut, so you don't have to stumble through and learn everything the hard way.
So, here's the plan for today. First, we'll talk about actually entering that corporate maze. Then we'll cover how to lay a solid foundation. After that, it's all about surviving your first few days. We'll also get into navigating those tricky unwritten rules. And finally, we'll wrap up with how to master your mindset for the long haul.
All right, let's kick things off with part 1, entering the corporate maze. This is really all about getting your head around that massive shift from college life to career life.
You know, what's kind of comforting is that the author, even with over 21 years under his belt, still remembers that feeling of being completely and totally overwhelmed at the start. It's a great reminder that the real challenge isn't always the job itself. It's the culture shock, it's the office politics, and it's all those unspoken expectations that you're just supposed to know somehow. So, if you know this maze is waiting for you, how on earth do you prepare for it? Well, that leads us right into our second section, laying your foundation. This is about doing the prep work before day 1. The book breaks it down into 3 really crucial steps to take before you even start. Step 1, focus on developing those essential soft skills. Communication, teamwork, the stuff that really matters. Step 2 is about crafting a resume that doesn't just list what you did, but shows the impact you made. And step 3, nailing the interview by learning to tell a great story about who you are and what you can do.
Okay, so you did all the prep work, you nailed the interview, and you got the job. Awesome! High five! But now the real fun begins. Let's talk about how to not just survive, but actually thrive in those critical first few days.
Think of this as your first day survival kit. Now, some of these might seem like no-brainers, right? Arrive on time, attend onboarding, ask questions, check, check, check. But the real secret weapon here is that point about observing the culture. Seriously. For your first few days, your main job is to be a detective. Keep your eyes and ears open, listen way more than you talk, and just try to figure out how things actually work around here.
And that whole idea of how things actually work is the perfect segue into what might be the trickiest part of the entire corporate maze, navigating all those unwritten rules.
Office politics. Yeah, I know, that phrase alone can sound kind of scary and negative, but the book breaks it down really simply. It's just the hidden power structures and unwritten rules that influence how decisions get made. It's not always a bad thing. Think of it like the social operating system of the company. You don't have to love it, but you definitely need to understand how it works.
And this right here, this is probably the biggest mental shift you have to make. In college, it's pretty much an individual sport, right? It's all about your grades, your projects. But the corporate world, that's a team sport through and through. Your success is completely tangled up with how well you work with others, build relationships, and just navigate all those complex team dynamics.
Okay, so how do you play this game without getting burned? The book gives a pretty clear playbook. The do's: do focus on building good relationships and allies. Do pay attention to who really holds influence. The don'ts: don't get sucked into office gossip. Just don't. And try not to make enemies. Staying neutral is usually your best bet. But you know what your ultimate shield is? Just doing your job and doing it really, really well. That's your best defense.
All right, let's pull back from the day-to-day survival tactics for a second and look at the big picture, your long-term career growth. And you know what that all boils down to? Mastering your mindset.
What's really powerful is the book's argument that, in the long run, Your career isn't defined by the tasks you do, but by the mindset you bring to them. Embracing a growth mindset means you see challenges as opportunities, not threats. Constantly learning? That's basically your insurance policy against becoming obsolete. And resilience? Well, that's the superpower that makes sure a setback is just a detour, not a dead end.
So look, the corporate world might feel like a maze, but it's totally solvable. It's not this big, scary monster. With the right prep, a smart awareness of those unwritten rules, and a solid growth mindset, you can absolutely navigate it and find your own path to success. The book gives you the map, and hopefully, this explainer has given you a good place to start. The rest of the journey? Well, that's up to you to write. So, the real question is, what's your success story going to be?